All right, so we're pretty much going to dive straight on in today. We have here with us to take us through today's Ignite, Nick from the Eugene Market Center. Nick, I remember started because I'm in Eugene also, right as COVID hit. He was an agent in the PC program, just like a lot of new folks that join our offices start out. And now he's on our ALC, our agent leadership in the Eugene office, and is one of our top 20% producers. So he's going to take you through, I believe it's like connecting with leads, I think today. Um,
Follow up.
Follow up, yes. Thanks, Nick. Um, and so, Nick, just let you know, I will stick around in the background if we have any kind of stragglers jumping in the next 10, 15 minutes or so. I'll go ahead and let them in for you so you can get started with your presentation, your slides, and not worry about having to do that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and hand things over to you. Take it away.
Thanks, Aaron. All right. Hi, everybody. Like Aaron said, my name is Nick West. I'm at the Eugene office. I started, like first week of February 2020. So it was like prime time to start, right? It was like, all right, I'm in the office. Ooh, 2 weeks passed by, and they were like, bye, see you later. Um, and then and then a year from home, and now we're back, right? Hey, just so I know who I'm talking to, could I just get like a little hi? Where are you from each person? I'm just gonna go in order of the people I see. Allison, maybe. Okay, let's go Georgia for now.
Hi, I'm Georgia. I'm at Eugene Springfield.
Oh, cool, sweet, awesome. Me too. Um, Sarah, where are you from? Oh, we can't hear you. It doesn't.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I keep forgetting. I am about 3 weeks in on this whole process, and I'm at
Woo.
Sunset Corridor. So,
Awesome. Cool. Allison.
About that. I'm right there with Sarah. I think this is like my second and a half week at Sunset Corridor. So
Awesome.
new.
Welcome. Cool. And then Carrie, is it Carrie?
Yeah, it's Carrie. So I am really sick today.
Oh, you're good.
I'm 5 weeks in out of Sunset Corridor, but I'm actually in North Central Oregon.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome. Sorry you're sick, but thanks for joining us anyways. Appreciate it. And then
Thank
is it Isha?
Yeah, hi, this is Isha.
Hi.
I'm also from Sunset Corridor.
Cool. Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, so like Aaron said, today we are going to be talking about following up with leads. I tend to if you're able to be on camera, I appreciate that. That's awesome because then it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself. And then two, sometimes I'll just kind of like get going, and also feel free to raise your hand. But if you like have a question, just jump in and don't feel like you're interrupting me, because that, then it's good back and forth. And then if I go on for 5 minutes and then it's something you want to talk about 5 minutes ago, right? Then we're in it at least. So anyways, let me get this going here. So I have a copy of your workbook, which we're going to kind of go off of on that. I also have my slides, which are from, I guess, like a little bit older version of Ignite. So I'm going to kind of jump between my slides and your workbook too, because I really like the new workbook and what's in there. Okay, I am going. Okay, also totally embarrassing. Okay, so a moment. Yes, started my career with Zoom. I am not good with Zoom, right? I'm that person. I'm so sorry. So bear with me, right? I try. Let's see. Can you see my screen right now? And is it the whole screen or just actually the slideshow?
we're good. It's just the slideshow.
Perfect.
You're
Great.
on the
Okay.
Ignite session 11.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Love it. Welcome. Okay, so last class you guys discussed lead follow-up, communication, the how to open the door with communication. Today we're going to basically talk about what happens next once you get an actual response from that lead and how your goal is to then convert that lead into an appointment, right? After a lead generation, lead conversion is the most important activity that you need to figure out how to do. If you don't have appointments, you won't have buyer-seller agreements. Without agreements, you can't have any sales, right? Has any oh, so we're all pretty new here. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So basically today's agenda is going to be looking something like this. By the end of the day, you should be able to apply a lead conversion model, have some systems in place to develop those for capturing, cultivating, and converting leads. And we're going to try to apply some proven methods to increase your conversion rate over time, like open-ended questions, no yes and no's. Does anybody have any questions? Makes sense? Sweet. Okay, lead conversion is an essential part of the lead follow-up process, right? Often people think that lead generation and lead conversion are the same thing, and it's really not. Lead generation is when you turn activities like prospecting and marketing into leads, getting those names, and then conversion happens after the lead is captured and then is then part of the lead follow-up process, right? It's unique in its own sense because there's activities that turn leads into appointments at the end of that transaction being your goal, right? Okay, quote Gary Keller, the effort you give to converting leads must match the effort you give to generating them, right? It kind of goes just off like what I was saying, right? Like there's a huge difference from just getting 50 names and putting them in your phone book versus actually talking to those names and the effort that you know what you put forth actually getting someone actually getting a deal from it at the end. Converting a lead into an appointment is a process that can happen really fast and it can also happen really slowly. I've been on both sides of it. Consistently getting every possible appointment from leads you generate isn't complicated necessarily, but it does require a preparation, practice, and purposeful action, right? You have to go out of your way to make this happen. It starts at the top of the model with capture. You got to capture the correct information and enough information to be able to contact the person, right? Then you move on to connecting, building that connection, gaining information from that person, and then also building trust. And then finally, that ends with you closing an appointment. And without that appointment, you haven't converted anybody, right? So again, it goes back to that. You could have 50 names in your book there, but if you're not converting anybody, you're not actually really doing the job, right? After lead generation, lead conversion is the most business critical activity that you have to master, okay? It's where the possible business that comes from lead generating activities can turn into probable business and then ultimately into profitable business. Converting lead into appointment has so much importance because it's how you know you have a chance of earning income, right? Once you actually get to that appointment, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm finally getting there. We're going to make something happen. Converting the appointment to business is also the key to your economic success, right? No, here's a note. You'll learn how about converting appointments into business starting on day 14. Until then, we're going to focus on how. Or then you're going to focus on how. Right now, we'll know why. So throughout this, and I'm sure you've seen this slide a million times, we share ahas because they're powerful, meaningful insights that come from reflection and experience we're having, right? So if you have one, if you're like, oh my gosh, I got something, or like I said, a question, say it out, like, right? If it's something to celebrate, an aha you get, a question, there's no dumb questions in this moment. We're all here to learn together and just grow from it. Okay. I'm going to put this side away now, and I'm going to open up the fun pamphlet that I enjoy way more. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Let's just go back to right here. So one of the things that if you guys are on your workbook, I'm on page 11 of the actual workbook. I don't know if you are using that or following it along, but it does have some really good information on it. Let's talk about capturing leads, okay? I'm actually gonna do this really quick just so I can see everybody again. When you want to ask a seller a question or a prospect a question and get into that building relationship, there's a huge part of like you want to ask an open-ended question, right? So the answer from the person you're talking to is not yes or no, okay? So have you guys done open houses yet? Ooh, cool, awesome, fun.
Yes.
Okay, love it. So an open house is like a really great place to start, especially with having those conversations, because it's kind of like you get, I mean, obviously practice with each other, find a peer and practice, but it's where you can get a lot of like real life experience practicing and having those conversations. So, like example, if you're in an open house and a really good open-ended question to ask that's not like, how are you doing today? Or are you shopping for a house? Is you'd be like, we're talking and if I were to need to contact you, right, what would the best number be? You're not then asking, what's your phone number, right? Because then it's easy to be like, nah, whatever. But if you're saying, if you're coming from a place of like, oh, look, I'm here. If I were to just find the perfect thing, what, like, how would I, how can I help you with that? Then you're coming from a place of giving, right? Same thing. If I found exactly what you're looking for, how would I contact you, right? What's your email? What's your phone number? If I found out information that you're wanting, how would I get it to you? That's a good, how do you get their email question, right? Have any of you gone about like trying to capture leads or have those conversations yet with anybody? Like when you did your open house, how did it go?
I did my first shadow and we didn't have a single person come through.
Cool, love that for you. Well, you're trying.
It was so fun.
That's
Yep,
when you really get to
but-
like check out that house, right?
Yes. But I'm at that stage of where I'm outside of my core group, right? Just the
Mhm, mhm.
exterior people that I've worked with at schools and wherever, where it's like, so now I'm doing real estate and just trying to find the path that's
Yep.
like what they're looking for. Oh, I've been thinking about we're talking about selling our house, but we need to get the roof done. Well, let me find you a roofer, and I've got a great recommendation for you. I've been trying to have those conversations.
Right. Cool. That's awesome. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna dive back into this here just because I just wanted to chat with that for a second. Sometimes it's like, oh, cool. Okay. Play. Okay. Converting a lead to an appointment. All right. So where my slide is here. This is how we're gonna get in like the steps of like actually converting it into that appointment. Capturing a lead is defined as collecting the minimum amount of valid contact information of a potential buyer or seller, right? So again, like those open-ended questions, like if I were to find something, how would I get a hold of you? If I were to find the perfect thing, how could I show it to you? What's the main stuff you need, right? A phone number, an email, an address would be great. We can get to that later. But those are like, the open-ended ones there. At its simplest, yeah, like I said, collecting the smallest information, the way to get a hold of them. Email and phone number is most likely what you'll be able to get first and easiest, right? There's also like pretty easy ways to collect that stuff, like an open house sign-in sheet, right? If you have a social media ad out there, if you do mailers and flyers, or if you have a for sale sign up, right? Those are ways you can just get like a quick, oops, sorry, somebody just came to the room. I gotta figure out how to admit them. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Wow. They're gonna be like, nobody's letting me in. Okay, there we go. Hello, Santosh. Okay. Yeah, like you said, places where you can do a simple form to collect a lead. Those are sometimes also like, it's like a soft lead, right? Where it's like, okay, cool, I have a phone number or an email of somebody I never met. Now let's make that further, versus like your mom's best friend, like your aunt, right? Um, yeah, like I said, when you are capturing leads in person, it's good to know the questions and like practice them ahead of time, like those open-ended questions. I would say, if you have a system in place, right, that's going to help you out a lot more in the long run as well. And that'll also kind of give you an if you have your system in place and you're kind of going about the steps, that'll also give you the opportunity to cultivate and build a relationship, right? All leads you get might not be ready for an appointment, right? Most of them probably won't be. So your goal then is to gain mind share and continue to stay in close proximity, using touch campaigns, reaching out, smart plans, which we can talk about later too, which I love talking about smart plans, by the way. They're my babies. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh man. Sorry. Talking about lead getting. Oh yeah, okay, this is dumb. So, and this is something that like I don't know if this is true or not, right? Look it up. A very busy lender told me this years ago when I first started, and they said people can only remember you for 21 days. Okay, so think about that. If you let 30 days go by, people might not be thinking about you. And you always want to be top of mind, right? Because then anytime if somebody in conversation at their job is like, do you know a realtor? You're like, oh yeah, of course I do, right? Because you're always taking up the mind share and being top of mind. That's why having systems in place to do those really help with that as well. Oh, look, the questions are right there. Best practices for those questions, right? Embed your value proposition into that. Like if I found the perfect thing for you, right? You're doing it for them. Like you're not bugging them. You're actually helping, right? Some people are really good at role playing and practicing conversations. If that is your vibe, I would say do it. Role playing can be great. I know it's like uncomfortable and awkward at first, but once you like kind of get past that, especially if you can find like a buddy that's like ready, we're both going to embarrass ourselves and get past this, great. And then if there's also kind of this like hidden skill and kind of knowing the outcome you want from a conversation, right? So you can like use leading questions to get into those, right? Which are these guys right here. So this is where you kind of like you can get in and connect, right? So you have these connecting questions. A connecting question is more than just small talk, right? Your communication should seek to answer the 6 basic questions, right? Who are they? So who are you talking to? If you're in a conversation, you can say, example, hey, if you would tell me a little bit more about yourself, right? With that objective, you're looking for as much personal information about them as their situation that they're willing to share, marital status, kids, pets, jobs, etc. These are the details that you'll later want to put in your database so you can remember to connect with them in the future off those things. 2, what do they want or need to do? Okay. Example, conversation question. Thanks for sharing that. Now, if you would, please tell me what you want to do, right? You're beginning to assess their wants and needs and their current plans, right? You're not telling them, they're like feeding you all of it because people do like to hear themselves talk, okay? Where do they want or need to do it? Can you share me where you're thinking of moving and why? Now you're trying to get an understanding of their current situation. Why do they want or need it? Share me why you're doing this. You're trying to determine their motivation with it and how quickly or how big of a deal it is for them to do. And then how do they plan on doing it? Can you please tell me exactly what have you done already to plan for this, right? And then you're oh my God, you're assessing what they've already done, their expectations, and then also their experience previously, because that'll give you a good answer of like people, how if they're, if there's a difference between buying a house once, 3 times, 5 times, and 0 times, right? And there's all different client skill as well, if that makes sense, right? Other questions, right? So for buyers, in your guide, there's some really good questions there. Just like, what happens if you can't find a house to buy? Like that kind of, what's happening after that, right? What's prompting your move? When do you want to be in your new home? How long have you been looking? What's your time frame? For a seller, what's prompting you to move? Are you working with other agents? Are you interviewing other agents? Kind of gives you an idea of how much work they're putting into it, right? How much do you think your home is worth, right? It's these open-ended questions that let you kind of let them feel like they're taking the lead, but honestly, you're kind of taking the lead and you're getting the information out of it, okay? Ba, ba, ba. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do, right? That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment. So that kind of goes to that number that I've been told that I don't know if it's scientific, but disclaimer, 21 days, right? Question, when you're asking for an appointment, which format do you think is the most effective? A text, an email, a phone call, in person?
I think anytime you're face to face, you're creating more of a commitment with them. But if that's not available, then definitely move to probably text messages because most people respond to those quicker and have them in their system better than an email.
You know what's funny? I would agree with that too. Like an in person for me, right? And then in my mind, I go, well, a phone call. Honestly, I would say these days it kind of is right there with phone call and text message, just because some people like good luck getting them on the phone, but if you text them, they might text you back instantly. So I would almost be like in person, then phone call and text. Email, we get emails a million times a day. A good thing to remember also, I don't know if any of you have heard this one before. This is a great way to have your conversation keep going, is Ford, okay, like the car. Write this down. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay. So if you don't have anything to say, tell me about your family. How's your family doing? What's your family, right? What do you do for work? How's work going? What do you do for fun? You got any vacations coming up? What do you want to do for the future? What are your dreams, right? Not only does it keep a conversation going, it also definitely helps build a trust, kind of like lets you into their world so you can also like know kind of what they're thinking of as well. Did you guys have you talked about touch campaigns and smart plans yet? You have. Okay. Okay, cool. Um, you know, I guess going back to that cultivate, those are a really good way to keep to keep that going. We'll probably kind of like we're not going to do like 60 minutes of role play and phone calls right now. I will save you from that. That is for you to do on your own time. So when we get to that part, if it's cool with you, I will love to talk a little bit about smart plans and that kind of thing. Because like I said, I love touch campaigns. And if you stick around with me, I will even give you some good ones that you can take and run with, or show you some good ones that I really like. Okay. Talk about that. Awesome. There we go. In the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet, right? And if they don't, then they won't. That's okay. You don't really care what their answer is ultimately because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do, right? I love to tell people all the time, like, I don't sell houses, like, houses sell themselves. I just help you along with that giant, insane, super fun, amazing journey. But I don't sell a house. In fact, I'm pretty critical when I go into a house and I'll be like, right? You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't sell houses. The houses sell themselves. You're just gonna ask and respond until they agree to that meeting that with you that makes sense for them, right? Or it doesn't. Either way, they both win. I have had leads signed in for a year, cultivated for 6 months, finally got a hold of, finally got them to talk to a lender, and the lender calls me and goes, "There's no way they're gonna buy a house. They're 2 years away from buying a house." Fine, that's great. For that year we've been talking about me, I'm not joking. This is I swear this actually happened. I have gotten 3 solid like active leads from a person that I know that they know that they're in no position to buy a house right now and it's going to be a while, right? And one of those, I not joking, bought a house. They called me. They were like, "Hey, I was talking to Marley. She said she's known you for a year. You were helping her buy a house. I think I want to try." They called Lauren, my lender. Lender calls me an hour later and goes, "450, you're good to go." I gave him a pre-approval letter. And it was a week later. We were in an offer, pending everything in Veneta. It was awesome. So cool. And that came from somebody that I had been talking to for a year and a half that I just happened to know, kept on top of mind. And I wrote them a very nice card and was like, "Thank you so much for thinking about me." And I put a business card of mine in that card too. Yeah, so like I said, you both went on that. Questions? Questions? Do you oh, is it that's not anywhere up here? Okay, bummer. So do you guys know the KW belief system, the WIC3, win-win, integrity, all that? Okay, so the KW belief system, win-win, win-win or no deal, right? Integrity, always do the right thing. Customers always come first. Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust, starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all. And success, results through people. Literally is all of that is in that one run-on sentence, short paragraph right there. That's all that. If you can follow the KW belief system, and this sounds totally like drinking the juice, whatever, and follow along with that, this will happen for you too, right? At the end of the day, you just want to be the person that they think of, and you just want to be the person who's there to help. Okay, so we got some of the models down, the actions to convert leads into an appointment, right? Now we're going to dig deeper into what conversion rate is actually and how you can use it to inform your business decisions. Okay. I know a bunch of brokers that are heavily based on their conversion rate, and then other people who aren't at all. I will say it's good to know your conversion rate, but I might be totally wrong on this, but in my mind, I don't work at I come from like the retail world, right? So before this, it was like at one point I worked at Hollywood Video, if any of you are old enough to know what that is. And I used to have to sell 25-cent insurance on movie rentals. And that was like what the company was about, right? It was like that was the business. Are you still there? We're all still here. Okay, cool. Somebody tell me if they can hear me or if it's just Siri right now that's talking to me. Okay, cool. Bizarre.
It went away and then it came back. I don't know if that happened for anybody else, but it could just be.
Yeah, my Siri started being like, "What do you want me to search?" So yeah, like
That was weird.
we're
Mine
not,
did too.
okay, we're not in the world of like I said, having to like sell our numbers aren't really like a big thing like they can be like in a corporate retail world, right? But it literally goes to the same thing where I used to talk about conversion rate 15 years ago when I worked at the mall and when I worked at Apple, and I still talk about it today, which Never would have thought, right? But it's totally true. So a conversion rate refers to the percentage of leads that you ask for an appointment to those that will agree to an appointment. We're not talking about closing, right? We're talking about just leads. So example, if you ask 10 leads, so you have 100 leads, right? Mets, have not Mets, hot, cold. If you ask 10 of them for an appointment and succeed in setting 8 appointments, that's an 80% conversion rate. Great. Your ultimate goal is to increase your skill so that you can convert at the highest percentage possible. The higher percentage, the more leads have converted to appointments. If you're converting at a low percentage, it should tell you that you have a lead conversion challenge, right? So the challenge is not the number of leads generated, but your ability to get them an appointment. So again, you can have 200 people in your command database, but if you're not doing anything with that, it's not going to help you in the end, right? Sometimes lead conversion is based on your total number of leads in your database. Sometimes it's based just on the leads that are being cultivated at the current time. What is important is to evaluate your business and what works for you, right? And then repeat the same measure of success each time to calculate your own conversion rate. So some people would say, I have 1,000 contacts. I've gotten 10. My conversion rate's 1, but I'm fine. Great. Other people are like, I have 10 contacts, I need 8 appointments, 80% conversion rate. It's what works for you, okay? In your book, there is a little thing in there to calculate your conversion rate. I would say, if you have time, do it. Like, see kind of what numbers you have and what's going on there. All right. Oh, ways to improve your conversion rate. Oh man, time block. That's like my favorite word ever. I'm being super sarcastic. Time blocking is it was beat into me when I worked at Apple. And literally when I left, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to have to write a schedule with colors and everything again. That's not true, right? I don't time block my entire day out or 20 people's, but I definitely like to time block certain chunks of my day out to be like, okay, this is my goal for today. And when I get this done, I'm good, right? Then I feel good if I keep going, or I can feel good even if I'm like, I'm done for the day. Using systems and using the systems and conversations, right? So systems like a smart plan, follow-ups, and then those conversations like having those open-ended, not yes or no's. Forward, family, occupation, relationship, dreams, love that. Practice conversations, asking for the close, using systems to support lead conversion into your business. Systems can make sure you're doing the right steps at the right time, so that way you're like not forgetting to stop doing that. And then what will happen too is step 3 here says connect with your whole database. Okay, so sounds easy, right? But what'll happen is a lot of the time you can get a name or number in there and then totally like you stop thinking or focusing on that person, which totally makes them do the same thing, right? So don't neglect any part of your database, right? Like reconnect with each person. When you do, ask for referrals. Conversations, activities are not just for leads, they're also for your sphere of influence, your contacts, right? So you come from care, curiosity, and contribution, and get back into that relationship with people you haven't talked to. Like I said, prime example here, like my aunt is in my database, and I got on a smart plan to call Joanne, and I was like, I don't need to call Joanne. She knows whatever, and I'm busy. And then I called Joanne a week later, and she was like, oh yeah, my son Zach is wanting to do this thing with his friend. And it was like, she didn't call me, and I don't know if she would have said that to me, but and who knows if it'll lead anything, but it was just kind of getting back in that right there. And then also do know who to prioritize, right? So I think this comes up in a class or two, but prioritizing and then deciding which are like qualified leads, whether it's a hot lead or a cold lead or like a right now, right? And know how to prioritize that while still also working on the rest of your database. Every lead has the potential to turn into business. And as you've already heard, there's no bad leads, right? So with the lead conversion model, you're going to capture the appropriate information to get a hold of the lead. So phone number, email, as much as you can get. Oh, okay. This is me going on a tangent here, and this will remember this. Somebody told me this in an old Ignite class before it was called Ignite. Her name was Charity Crosby. I love Charity Crosby. She's out of the Eugene office. She, every single time she has a client and is doing anything, she asks for their ID. Okay, not a weird thing. Like, oh, I just need your ID for the file. Okay, the only reason she asks for that ID is so she can write down their birthday. Remember that. We'll come back to around to that. It's huge. I don't know what made me just think of that. Oh yeah, asking the right amount of information. That's one that if you can get their birthday, that's just an easy get of a week of touching base with that person the week of their birthday. After capture, you're going to connect to assess their needs and establish a relationship, right? You're going to ask them those open-ended questions, and then you're going to cultivate the relationship. Not all people who convert directly into an appointment, right? So that's when you're going to use campaigns, touch campaigns, reminders, smart plans to keep cultivating that relationship. And then eventually you're going to close by asking for the appointment, right? So you're in control of that ask and nobody else. Somebody literally might be waiting for you to be like, so what do you think? Do you want to do this? Do you want to get a hold of a lender? Do you want to start doing this, right? They might just be scared. You might be talking to them about real estate and they're like, yeah, it sounds great if I could. I don't know. And nobody's going to ask them for you. You need to be the one to ask. Oh, shoot. Okay, I got somebody else jumped in the room. 1 second. I got to figure it out again. Okay, I got it. Got it. Questions, comments, concerns, anything.
So I have a quick question. I did around 5 to 6 open houses from last 1 month or 2 months. I
Cool.
have around five
Good
to
job.
six. Yeah, I have around 5 to 6 leads. So when I see the plan in the command, it says that I need to touch a lead after 21 days or after 30 days.
Mhm.
And if a lead has said that they are looking for a house very eagerly and before summers they want to get settled down, how many times in a week, ideally, I should message them or email them because they are very eager to get a
Mhm.
house. And 21 days is a huge time in between
Yes.
getting another agent involved.
Yes. If it is okay, so here's how I would take it, right? So if it's like a hot lead and you're like working with them, if there's any milestone that they pass that's like, okay, did you talk to a lender? Okay, cool. What did the lender say? I mean, I would say if it's a thing where you're getting it going and you're building it, you overreaching out and calling them is only honestly going to show you're going to care, right? You're not coming from a place of like, you're not charging them per phone call or anything like that, right? Even you just calling and saying, how you doing? Any questions? Anything I can do? That's all. Think about when you want that coupon and then that, you get that text message from whatever, and then you're like, oh yeah, I got a coupon. And then they text you the next day and you're like, oh, cool. And then, after 50 texts and 3 months later, you're like, all right, well, then, right? Kind of the same thing. Like if they're excited and like, what? I would be the same way. If it's if it's a seller that's like, oh, I just gotta like finish cleaning out my garage. And you're like, cool, I'll talk to you next week. Okay, cool. How'd that go? Do you have a yard sale? You need to have a yard sale. What do you need help with? Who can I call to help you? Right? And you're just coming from a place of that, you're not gonna be bugging anybody. If it is a brand new buyer, right? There's some really good smart plans in place that like one of my favorites, and I'll show you guys in a second, is and I would say take it, use it, right? If you have a buyer. And it's like a HTML script that emails them every other day. And it's like, hey, here's today's lesson, what a lender is, right? And I'm not kidding you, my best friend who bought a house in Portland. I did a house deal in Portland during COVID. It was so cool to drive up there every weekend and try to write 20 offers on a house. But I put him and his wife on this beginner smart plan, and he literally called me on like day 4 and was like, oh man, that email you wrote me yesterday was so cool. I had no idea. And I was like, Cool. Yeah, I wrote that a year ago. Totally. Yeah, you know what I mean? But like it's and that was like me, it was every other day it sent him a pretty big email that he was actually reading because he was a hot buyer, super new, didn't know. So it's kind of like, you gauge it by that. But I would say don't feel like you're annoying. If somebody tells you to cool it, great, cool it. Another good thing that I like to say is like, you know, how often do you want me to call you, right? If we're looking for a house, do you want me to make sure that you just get a search list every couple days? Or if I see something that morning, do you want me to call you and be like, let's go, let's make it happen, right? And kind of let them tell you also how much they want to be contacted. When you get to the point of having a buyer presentation, which you make like a little book and it's like just a little ad for you basically. I have one where like the last page I rip out and it's like a questionnaire almost, and let them fill it out. And it's like got check boxes for, how often do you want to be contacted? And then I take that and then put it in the CRM also in Command. I think Command Designs has a couple pretty decent like templates for having a buyer presentation, and a listing presentation, like a generic listing presentation where you can go in and say, oh, look, here's a little book about me. If you want, I can send you after this my buyer presentation book too, which is like I said, it's really simple. It's literally
Yes.
like an ad, but it has like numbers, people I like to work with, right? Like stuff like that. I will get the attendance from Erin, and just for fun, I'll send it all to you guys so you just have it.
Yeah, examples are really helpful for me.
It's cool too. If you've ever met, I know, wait, Georgia, you said you're from Eugene, right? If you ever meet Linda Reed, Linda Reed's awesome. I love Linda. Linda gave me her buyer guide years ago, which somebody gave her years before that. So like it's cute because it's just kind of like all an extension. So like everybody that's got one, it's that thing where like you take your headshot and then maybe you'll take another one 10 years later. Like I might work on my buyer's guide in a couple of years, but like the one I have that I spent 3 weeks on 2 years ago, fine, it's perfect. So like I'll send it to you. You'll see it and be like, oh yeah, cool, great. I could see how this is a great thing to leave behind after you have a meeting with somebody. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like I said, I sometimes just kind of get going and rambling. So like feel free to like hit me with questions if you have any. Okay, let me pull this back up here. I think we're almost done with the slideshow. And then, like I said, if you guys want, I would love to just show you a couple of my favorite smart plans. Wow, I really should like practice how to get better at Zoom. I mean, I feel like everybody says that, but like, some people are actually really good. Okay. Here we go. Each standing night, you grow in how you think, you feel, you act, you implement, and what you've learned. From learning and ahas to move forward to the achievement of your big life goals. And that's what we're here, right? For so to mastermind together and to achieve our goals. Something to like think about, not just from like taking an Ignite class, like anytime you go through something where you're in a mastermind, right, is to think about how has your thinking changed over the time, right? Do you have did you hear any ideas from anybody or any new mindsets that were new to you, right? What do you feel differently about than you did before, right? When you go to a thing, you think, what was like meaningful to you today? What's the one thing that I can take away? I love going to escrow classes because usually you get a free lunch, and escrow is really weird because it's like not a side that we work in, but you can like take these strangely meaningful things that like you've never thought of, your client doesn't think of, and then it's just one of those, oh, did you know this? And then you're just a genius all of a sudden, right? And like keep those with you. Think about how your behaviors are different going forward, and like what actions you take, like with scripting. I don't know if you've been through the open house class yet. It's so good. And like I'm sure whoever taught it has a little sheet, a one sheet. I still use that one sheet as how to do my open houses, right? That changed how my behavior with open houses forever going forward, right? Oh my gosh, lost it. And then what other systems will you use, and how can you make your systems keep you accountable, right? So for me, I use Command, I use Smart Plans, and I use the task bar. That's how I try to keep myself accountable. I know a lot of other people that have, I say accountability buddy. I don't think that's a real word, but a person that you talk to and you're like, it doesn't have to be your best friend, doesn't have to be a long conversation. It's a 10-minute call in the morning being like, what are you doing today? What's your goal today? How are you gonna get it done? Cool, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And then just keeping that in mind where that person's expecting you to do stuff and you're expecting them to do stuff, right? Let me see here. Okay, have to do this really quick. So I'm sure you see this all the time. And now something we have to deal with is we have to follow the TCPA and do not call list, right? I make a subscription. It's pretty easy to do, especially if you're we'll get into the command list, but I make it so like I'm not going to force myself to do more than like 5 calls a day, and checking 5 calls on the do not call list is easy. If you're like, I got 150 names, it's a little bit different story. Talk to your compliance person in your office, Madeline, if you're in Eugene, and she can show you how to do it. But it's easy if you're just doing like five calls a day, right? Okay, here we go. Let's go here. Just so you know, texting also falls under the guidelines. It literally says I have to read this. No dialers, no automated voicemails, can't do that if they're not on the do not call list. So a lot of people think that using what's called a slide dial doesn't count, and that does count. Slide dial is when if you ever just get a message, like just a voicemail, and you're like, oh, nobody called me. That's what that is. It's a system that just makes you a voicemail without calling. The importance of following these guidelines is truly important. I feel like everybody knows somebody that's gotten a complaint against them, and it's like this weird thing where all of a sudden you can get fined, and literally I think it's up to $43,000 a call if you mess it up. So like, just remember that. Fun thing. If you have people sign in to your open house, and then on there's a sign that says, can I contact you about information? That automatically means even if they're in this, they agreed to be contacted, right? So then it's fine. So that's why using like an online sign-in process for an open house is really great, because even if they're on this list, it doesn't matter. They said, yeah, you can contact me for stuff. Same with like, that's why we all get a million texts from Bed Bath and Beyond, if that still exists. Basically, part coming up here is role play. Like I said, I'm not going to force us to do a role play thing. I think role play is great. Do it on your own time. It's never going to hurt you to practice, right? And then I would also, practice making calls just on touching base with your contacts. It's easy to do it with somebody who's in the same boat. So if you find another new agent and you're like, all right, let's just do this and let's make calls, you're all going to kind of know how to act to each other. It's hard to like do it with your friend, because then they might be silly about it, and you really don't want to be like silly when you role play stuff. Okay. If you want help with any of these things too, in Command and in Connect, there is a help bar in Command. So if you need logistic help with any of that, it actually is great. You can chat with a real person. And then in Connect, on the other side of Command, there is tons and tons of web videos, like, and pre-recorded seminars that are like technology based, how-tos, but then also those role-playing conversations that you can have, and support from other agents. Okay. Check this out. The next session is going to be strengthening relationships, and I am going to sneak peek. I don't know if this is going to come up in that, but I'm going to show you some of the ways that I build and keep relationships by having a machine do it for me. Anybody have any questions yet about anything? Okay, cool. If you do, like I said, don't hesitate. Okay, I'm gonna open up my command here. Give me just a second. Ooh, also, if anybody's downloaded the command app, it's great. When I started a couple years ago, right? It's great now. It works great. So I'll back it up there. Ooh, okay, I got one more for you here. This is like I just did this the other day after forever, so I'm like almost embarrassed to admit it. Off the top of your head, does anybody know how many contacts they have in their command database?
Like
Okay,
how
well,
many
here,
we're
I'll-
supposed, how many we're supposed
No,
to
how many
have, or
you have
we
right
have?
now? Like how many? Yeah, how many you have? Like
I think I have like 78.
okay, 78. Cool. Do you want to do me a favor? Will you be vulnerable with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do me a favor. Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, but I'm using it right now.
Oh shoot, you are. Okay, well, I bet. Okay, well,
Yeah.
here's my vulnerable moment. Okay, so I've been doing this for like however many years, 1,000 since COVID. I don't even know. And somebody asked me and was like, "How many contacts are on your in your command?" And I was like, "I got like 200, right?" And then they were like, "Okay, cool. So open up your phone and then go to your contacts and then scroll down to the very, very bottom." And I have 913 people in my phone. Granted, some of those are Hollywood videos that don't exist anymore and other places, right? But I was like, and they were like, well, why do you only have 200 here, but you have 900 people that you have their phone number for that you can text? Or, okay, take out businesses that don't exist and 800.
245.
There you go. There you go. And like, they're all in there probably for a reason, right? I got Doco in there. I got a Pizza Hut too, but like still, I'm not right. But that was just kind of like it blew my mind when that happened to me. And so this kind of just leads into my next. What was that? Oh, you keep cutting out. What was it?
Who, me?
There we go.
There you go,
Yeah,
Sarah.
Adriana had us, because we're all new, we're probably in that same boat, but she had us download everything into command. And so I started
Cool.
with like 860 something that were downloaded. And then I went through and deleted out the old
Yep.
businesses, the things that weren't applicable or whatever. And
That is
so now I have
so
about
cool.
500 and something but I think it's good to clean out so you don't have all the garbage, but it was a quick way to just download it all.
Yeah,
If you
I
haven't
have,
done that.
and like I'm not gonna go through and clean out my contacts because I'm lazy and 900 so many, but like literally same thing. The reason she probably had to do that is because that is a new feature that works in the command app. Ooh, and it works great. Like I tried to do it like 2 years ago and it didn't. I'm not an expert spreadsheet writer in Microsoft Office, and that's how you had to do it. So, but yeah, that's awesome. I recommend doing it. And then just like you said, going through and cleaning up your command, because like I said, I'm going to share with mine and you will see exactly same thing. I have ones, my first a bunch, I think one of them is a radio station when I lived in Portland. Okay, can we see my command here? Okay, sweet. So yeah, look, if you go to my contacts, I put 817, so I've already gotten rid of a bunch in there, right? And what's cool is you can tag them now with iPhone import. So smart plans. Smart plans are an amazing way, and it's free. I mean, you already pay it. You pay for it with your KW, right? Smart plans are awesome because they're one of the best ways to stay top of mind and keep yourself on track without going out and spending a bunch of money on software that you don't need. The way a smart plan works is there's a couple different kinds where there's ones where you'll send an email, it'll send an email to a client for you automatically. I wish there was a way I could like be both on screen and my screen. Smart plans are great because there's a way where you can send them, like I said, an email. There is a text integration through what's called Twilio. It's like $3 a month. You get 300 texts. It does come from a different number. So I will just say, don't forget to put a signature at the bottom of that. And then, it's a marketing text, which your people will understand. But I always put a signature that's like, I'll show you where mine just says Nick West, Team West Homes. And then there's also a part of Smart Plans that create tasks for you. Tasks are one of the coolest parts because that's where you can get really personal, and this is where you can have your system be developed to actually like remember to do those things. So let me see. Here's my command. This is my home screen right here, right? I have my birthdays tab up here. I have my task list right here. So third thing down is tasks. These are linked off of my Smart Plan. So right here, this one, because Alana is in my birthday Smart Plan due today. So today I need to write a birthday card for Alana. It knows when Alana's birthday is, and it knows that today, if I send out that card, they'll get it a day or two before their actual birthday, right? Let me see what's my other ones. Okay, so here I have, look at this top one here. So quarterly call with Alan. I have Alan on a quarterly call. He's an old client of mine, and he's also on, he gets texts and emails from me, but I also have a reminder to every quarter, have a call with Alan, give him a ring, say hi, see what he's doing. When I do this, if you click the task for a call, there's an option that comes up and says, okay, well, what's the result of it? Left a message, no answer, talked, and then you can even put notes that's like what you talked about. So next quarter, you can talk to them about that too. And that shows up on their in their contact taskbar. So, or their timeline. So like example, I know that Kyle, so right here in their timeline, it shows up. So it'll say like, if I called Kyle, it'd be like, call with Kyle this day, and then it'd be my notes that I put there. There is tons and tons of Smart Plans, okay? The featured ones are great. The Keller Williams ones are great. They're ones that are tried and true, trusted. We all know they're good, right? Remember how I told you that every time I can get an ID, for whatever reason I will, and that is because one of the plans in there is the birthday plan. And you can see what that is. So day one, create a birthday card for blank blank, shows up my thing. Wait 4 days, day 5, make a call. So this will be the day before their birthday. And I say, hey, your birthday's tomorrow, happy birthday. And it tells me to do that. I click, I did it. And then it waits 1 day. And then the next day it puts a task on my list that says, what do I need to do? I need to create a birthday social post for contact first name. Those parentheses, it's a hyperlink, so it will tell you Alana. And then that same day, automatically, it's going to send a text that says, hey, happy birthday from me, right? And then that's the end of the plan. And I put them on it again for next year. And that just happens all on its own. Yes, I have to do stuff like make cards, but I also, from Amazon, I bought 100 birthday cards that I have right here. You can just send them out right from the office. They're really cheap. I highly recommend getting anybody in command and any birthday you can. Facebook's a great way to find a birthday too. On a birthday plan. This Smart Plan you can see right here, this is the Keller Williams made plan. So you can't really do any changes to it. It's pretty much all like on its own, and the timing of it, which is like great, right? All the other plans you can kind of edit and make them your own, which I will show you another one. This is Isha, the plan that I was talking to you about. So this one right here is called my buyer education plan. I don't have anybody on it right now because I don't have any like current fresh new buyers, but this is a really cool plan, super simple, where it's just day 1, send an email. And it's literally like, you can see the email here. Hey, Claudia, as you get ready for your home purchase, blah, 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 let's get started. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what credit is. Here's what income is. Any more questions? Call me. Ba, ba, ba. Love, Nick. Right? Bye. Waits a day. The next day, sends another email. Hey, Claudia, from our last email, we discussed blah, 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 what finances are. Okay, unless you're ready to go this weekend, let's do this. Let's get pre-approved. Let's come up with a list. It's a really good way to literally reach out to them every other day. And you set all this up ahead of time, right? It's ready to go. It's an 11 email plan, and it is very good. Another smart plan. Okay, question?
I have a question. Yeah. So the clients to whom I have already emailed from my last previous open houses. So is that okay to start with this plan, because it will again
Yeah.
say hello?
Yep. Yeah. There's also I haven't really like perfected one yet, but like I've started working on this one. Oh yeah, look, I even started working on this one. So this is my open house follow-up plan. It's a 21-day plan with 7 different touches. Day one, so this is right after I add the contact in the smart plan. It sends a text saying, "Hey blank, thanks for coming by. What'd you think of the open house?" Open-ended question. It's not yes or no, right? Day 2, it creates a task for me, which is it sends an email. And this is one that's just for me to send, not an automatic. Just send a nice email that says, "Hope you enjoyed the house." Wait 2 more days, and then on day 4 to make a call. Be like, "Hey, are you still interested in the open house?" Right? This is a great one for following up with somebody you've never met. And what's, like with this one, say you take it to the next step and they're like, "Okay, cool, let's like start chatting." Well, then you just stop the plan where you're at and then carry it on yourself, right? But this is a good one for following up with open houses.
Okay, and in the plans, as I do the open houses every week, in these plans, I can add their IDs, keep on adding. So
Yep.
everybody will start from scratch, right?
Yep. So say right here, if I have my open house right here, I can add contacts and I can just add anybody. So after I put that person in there, I can add them to the smart plan, or when I make a new contact, so say that I just made this contact right here, I can go to smart plans, add to smart plan, and all of my smart plans are right here. And then I can find the one and say open house follow-up smart plan and put them on that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Another of my favorite way to stay top of mind, and that's so easy that everybody should be doing it, is holidays. Okay. So holiday smart plans are some of the easiest ones because let's see. What do I have one? Okay, Halloween. Okay, this is my Halloween plan from last year. I will probably just add everybody to it and do it again this year. And all it is first step, they get this email from me. "Oh, happy Halloween." When you build this template in Designs, you can see at the top it says agent first name, agent last name. Those are all hyperlinks. So that's all based off of my profile in Command. So when I fill up all my profile in Command, they see my name up here, the office logo here. Let's see if I can. No, it's not. It'll show like my name here, my logo, my address, my phone number, right? And that's just an email they get on Halloween, and then they'll get an automatic text from my Twilio that says, "Hi blank, wishing you happy and safe Halloween." The end. And basically, like I set that up in 2020, and I'm literally using the same smart plan, and like I could do it today and just put every single person on there. I will just for some reason wait until a month before, but you can literally build out a whole year's worth of smart plans. Like I said, the holiday ones are like the easiest, and if you're feeling like overwhelmed by it, you can literally search Halloween in the smart plan library, and anybody else that made one that wanted to share it, they put it in there. So this is from Brian. We don't know Brian, but this is his Halloween smart plan, right? If you search TWH, all of mine are in there under TWH. So these are all like the smart plans that I use. I don't know what this one is. So there's my bioeducation one, right? For you, all you have to do is you find this, add it to your smart plan, click here, it goes into your smart plans, That was like the first one of mine. And then if you go in here to edit, click on step 1. So you'll see like it'll be mine, right? And it'll say my name at the bottom. All you got to do, click the little pencil and you just edit, change my name to yours. Make sure you like what I wrote on there. If you want to write something else, put it in and then hit save. And now it's yours. And just do that for each one of these. And they're great. You have a smart plan. And I put all the ones that I like to use, I put on the library, which so feel free to take those. And most likely I took that from somebody else and made it my own. And then yeah, right. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this is a fun one. You know, there's a million other agents out there. Agent referrals. So just like people forgetting about you, agents can also forget about you. So I have this one right here. When I put them on it, it sends them an email. And then 11 days later, it has me just touch base to be like, oh, sent you an email. Did you get my email? And then I think there's a 10 days later, it's like, oh yeah, it sends them an email to be like, remind me, what's your area that you like to work in? Because I'm Eugene, right? And then ideally that agent will reply to you. And then that's just you touching base with an agent in Florida so that when they have somebody that wants to move to Eugene, they think of you, right? 4th of July, Labor Day, all that. This is a, this is a fun one. So this, how do I actually get to it? It is in my plans. 5x5. So this is a 3-month plan. And this is just a make a call, reminds me in 30 days to call them again. And then at day 61 reminds me to call again. And then at the end of those 30 days, it starts the plan back over. And it just reminds you to call again. Those are a great, like, just call somebody every month plan. And what you can do, so what's cool about this one is, so say that I want to put a bunch of people on it. Let's see, I'm just going to put, okay, for the sake of this, I'm going to put every single person I have on it. And I say, add to smart plan. 5 contacts have errors. They don't have a last name. That's fine. So don't put them on. So right now, so I selected 15. I didn't actually click all. So right now I have 15 contacts, right? If I say start now, then it's going to tell me tomorrow to call 15 people, which, like, overwhelming, hate that, not going to do it. And then I'm just going to be like, ugh. If I say stagger start, then each day, this is how many people it will have me call. So if I say 3, then tomorrow it'll have me call 3 people. And then the next day it'll call the next 3 in that list of 15. And then it staggers it, right? So then it's like way less overwhelming. And then you're only making 3 calls a day, but it knows when to add them to that and when to start doing it. That's a really good, easy to stay in touch. I use the, where was it? What's the one that I use? I use the quarterly call one. So not every 30 days, I do them quarterly, right? And these are like my most active people, basically, that I make sure to touch base with every quarter. And I just stagger them. So I never have more than like 10 a day. Another amazing smart plan, and this is one that you have no control over, is when you add somebody to your contact base. Let me find something that I don't actually email every day here. Kyle. So with Kyle, they bought a house, right? So I have all their information on my command. I have their address. It puts them in their neighborhood there. And what's really cool is it'll automatically send them something called monthly neighborhood update. And every month, Kyle gets an email from me at like 2 a.m. that's like, hey, here's your update of your neighborhood. Here's how many houses are for sale. Here's this, here's that. Here's my number if you forgot about it. And that just happens every month. And it's like, you can see, I sent Kyle an email May 27th. And then in that email, there was listings, and Kyle like looked at that listing. So like, that means they're actually looking, and they're not going to buy anything right now. They just bought a house last year, but like they're actually looking at that email too, which is pretty cool. And if they were like an actual buyer and it showed the listing, I could go into my command, see which listing it is, and then be like, hey, I saw you looked at, do you have any questions about that? Which is pretty cool too. And that just happens automatically when you put their address in there. And that's a really good smart plan. Yeah, that's kind of my zhuzh on following up with leads, right? Like I like to use the technology at hand. Oh yeah, so like today, let's see, okay. I haven't actually wrote the birthday card, doop on my task list. I will do this. And then basically if I just check right here, say I did it, it just pops it off. And then in my task list, you'll see that I sent them a birthday card, right? Pretty cool. So yeah, I like to use the technology at hand to help me with that. As a real estate agent, you know that we are kind of being pulled in all directions at all times, and that's half our own fault and yada yada. But this is a good way to like kind of just keep yourself on track. I like to time block a chunk of time during the day when I'm feeling good, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tackle my task list, right? Also home anniversaries. If you ever do a deal, right, with anybody, I don't have any upcoming in the next 30 days. If you have any, do a deal, you make sure you put their home anniversary in their contact, and then put them on a home anniversary plan. And then it's the same thing as a birthday. Tells you when to send them a little card saying, oh, congrats again, you've been there for 2 years, and then sends them a text, gives them a call. Yeah. Yes. Pull out of this here really quick. And then, like I said, if I feel like a test baby of smart plans, right? So if you have any questions or want help with them, that little question mark, okay, it sounds like I was going to say call me and stuff, which I am going to say that too, but there's a little question mark at the top right side of your command, and you can chat with a live person for like weird things that are happening, but also call me or text me or email me, and I would be more than happy to walk you through it. Every like quarter, I do like a just smart plans class, and I'm like, bring your laptop, let's make one together and we'll get it. In the Eugene office, I'm at the end of the hall by the Xerox machine. I know that really only applies to Georgia. But like I said, if any of you guys have any questions about smart plans, KW Tech, any of that stuff, I'd be more than happy to help you. And feel free to like go in there and go into the smart plan library and just take some of mine, because a lot of the ones that I put in there are kind of designed to be like super simple, really easy to understand. You can get in there and find like these 36 touch plans, which is like ways to talk to somebody every 12 days for the next 3 years, and it's just a lot and kind of overwhelming to start. I like to start with like, what's the next holiday? Okay, cool, I'm gonna make a smart plan for that. And then you just kind of get the feel and the vibe of like how command and how designs and all that good stuff works. Yeah. Do you have any questions? I hope this like answered, I hope this made you kind of feel like something and empowers you a little bit to be like, let's get going. Like, Isha, one thing that you were saying is, how many times can I call them, right? That's the $1 million question. It's like, my answer, as many as you want. You're not bugging them, you're actually helping. And it's hard to get over that step. I still, to this day, I will literally go to a listing appointment and then let 3 days go by and be like, oh, should I call them? And it's like, they're literally waiting for me to call them. They're waiting for me to, right? It's on me. They don't want to bug me, right? You know what I mean? But it's like, you're not bugging them. You're literally, and especially if you're like coming from a place of heart too, like feel free. Don't, a lot of us get like a bad rap. We do. A lot of us, like, there's like this kind of weird thing that's like, they're like used car salesmen, they'll sell anything. And it's like, really, honestly, no. I'm probably more critical of most people when we go to a house. My best friends, we went and looked at like 30 houses. Don't do that for everybody. But like, I was like, there was one that we were looking at and I was literally like, no. I mean, yes, if you want to, great. But like, as in my professional opinion, right? And so a lot of people don't know that until they're actually like in it with you. And there are different agents out there. People do work differently. From me, in my personal experience, I come from a place of caring, I come from a place of giving and helping, and that's how I do it, right? When I write my offers, I try to like be like, I'm no nonsense here. So, and literally sell myself on that.
I've bought several homes sight unseen. So my real estate agent does the walkthroughs and things.
Yep.
And there
Yep.
was one home I was super excited about the neighborhood and the area, and he came back and said, "I refuse to sell you this house."
There you go. Yeah.
So
Oh God. Oh my God. I'm just having trauma flashbacks of like all the COVID sight unseen video walkthroughs. Okay, here's a fun tip that not everybody will do. There's a lot of video calls, there's a lot of sight unseen dies that happen. Here's a thing that I made sure every single one of my clients did is we went through that house, we toured that house, and then I said, okay, cool. Take it in. We're gonna make another appointment, whether it's later today or tomorrow, depends on how fast we have to move on it. And I'm going to bring somebody else here and they're going to go sit by the fireplace. And then they're going to go stand at the kitchen sink while we FaceTime, because you're looking at an empty room through a phone with a lens that I don't know what the lens is doing, right? But if you go that extra step and be like, I'm going to take a friend so they can go stand in front of the sink and you can see what it looks like when a human sized person stands in this kitchen. And it's like, the amount of people that were like, oh my God, thank you so much for taking the time out. Because like, I hate the living room now. And it's like, yeah, totally. We all do. Right. And it's just one of those, again, like building that relationship. Not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody has the time to do that. You might not have the time either, but there's a lot of things where, you know, you're a realtor, but you're also kind of an unlicensed therapist and an unlicensed contractor. So we wear multiple hats.
I had a question real quick. Sorry.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
wondering if everyone wanted to put their information in their chat and then we could add each other to command. So once the class is over, we can still reach out easily to each other. If
There you go. That's so funny. I was literally just opening the chat to put my info in there. So yes. Oh my God. I can't even look how bad I am. I can't even make a page break. Was it shift enter? There we go. This is my information. Feel free to take that. And like I said, if you have any questions, give me a call or a text or an email and stop by. I try to be in the office, but I do a million different other things and run around all the time. So after this, I'm heading to Drain to go climb on top of a roof to do something. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm looking at some chimney. Cool. And I'm going to copy all of your guys' info too. And then, like I said, I will find, just for fun, my buyer's packet. What I would do if you're like ready to make one and want one, just call and ask people that have them, right? Nobody's going to care. Like call Mara, be like, Mara, can I have your buyer's packet? You'll notice that mine looks very similar to hers, right? Because Mara copied Lindy, right? So, I'll give you mine and then just kind of make it your own. Buyer's packets are great because it's just a great way to like, again, build that relationship. You go buy a 50-cent little flyer, you print it out, 10 cents a copy, and you're like, here you go, I spent $1 on you, but look at this thing I'm leaving behind with all this info. Literally, I think mine's 10 pages and 3 pages are glossary, but it's like terms that people don't know that we use all the time. Yeah, then we have any other questions? I thank you all for stopping by and listening to me ramble on and dealing with my brain that goes all over the place. And like I said, I hope that I can like give you the boost to be like, you're ready to go, get out there, do it. You know, here's my live, laugh, love moment too. It's like we are like the king and queens of having imposter syndrome, okay? But like you're not going to know until you do it. And no matter what you do at this point, just by you having your license, you probably know, you do know way more than most people know anything about real estate. People that have bought 20 houses, you're literally like at their level just by the knowledge that you have already and like the trainings that you're going to and showing up to. And not to do a KW drink the juice thing, but like I started at KW and the knowledge around me and the fact that we're all in competition together, right? But like nobody's gonna, you're not gonna ask anybody any question here and then be like, I'm not telling you that. That's just not how we are here. So feel free, and like I said, ask fellow agents, go to the office, do stuff, and take it all in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys too. And like I said, feel free to reach out. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me make sure I copied everyone's stuff before we close it here. And yeah, have a good one, you guys. Enjoy the
Thank you.
weather.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.